In Phantoms in the Brain, Ramachandran touched on a patient known as DB. DB had an abnormal cluster of blood vessels that had to be surgically removed due to extreme migraines. When this abnormal cluster was removed, his headaches disappeared over time. However, he was unable to see anything in his left field of vision. This is known as hemianopia. His left field of vision was disrupted because the clump was located in his right primary visual cortex. DB was the first known patient who had blindsight. In order to fully understand DB's condition and blindsight in general, one must first understand the visual pathways associated with the condition. Firstly, blindsight is when a person exhibits both cortical and perceptual blindness due to damage to the primary visual cortex, area V1. In the book, this was also referred to as the new pathway and is also related to conscious experience. If the primary visual cortex is damaged in any way, this leads to some form of conscious blindness, whether hemianopia or absolute perceptual blindness. If visual information is not able to be processed in the primary visual cortex, or is not passed through the lateral geniculate nucleus due to damage, this means that neither the how nor the what pathways receive any information. If a patient experiences blindsight, they are unable to receive any conscious visual information. However, their superior colliculus still receives the visual information. This pathway was referred by Ramachandran as the old pathway. It makes sense that this pathway was, and still is, used as a source of response to external stimuli, which might pose a threat. This pathway also provides a good explanation as to why DB was able to reach out and touch his experimenter's arm, even though he had absolutely no conscious knowledge that he could reach out or perform any of the other tasks he completed while performing forced choice responses. Forced choice responses are a situation in which the researchers force the patient to make a choice when presented with a stimulus in an experiment. It is important to keep in mind that while a choice was made, they are completely unaware of the answer and feel as if they are making a 50-50 guess. While scientists are not absolutely sure of the pathways involved in blindsight, three theories seem to provide a good explanation into the condition. Firstly, area MT receives information from the superior colliculus, which are both a part of the extrageniculate subcortical pathway. Studies have shown that not only do MT cells become unresponsive to any visual stimuli when both area V1 and the supercolliculus are not functioning, MT cells remain active when V1 is destroyed, yet the superior colliculus still functions. This is supporting evidence of the theory that the superior colliculus relays information to extrastriate areas in the absence of V1 functioning. These extrastriate areas contain V1, V4, V5/MT, which are thought to aid in blindsight. Another theory regarding blindsight is that although the LGN is the major pathway to the primary visual cortex, it is also believed that the LGN has direct projections to the extrastriate cortex. This supposedly due to the lack of degeneration of the interlaminar layers of the LGN, even though the magnocellular and parvocellular layers of the LGN, which project to V1, fail to remain in good condition. Apparently, these interlaminar layers remain in good condition because of their projections onto the extrastriate cortices. These interlaminar layers provide a good explanation as to why blindsight patients, such as DB, are able to distinguish color and contrast in some cases. The third theory regarding blindsight is the possibility that some blindsight patients retain islands of V1 function. This means that although they are fairly consciously blind, they still are able to receive some visual information in the primary visual cortex. Some patients have been shown to exhibit slight functioning of V1. However, this theory does not apply to all patients due to some patients' complete loss of V1 functioning. This theory, however, helps to explain why some patients exhibit better visual abilities than others, and also helps to explain why blindsight is such a broad term for being consciously blind.